Hello again. Today's reaction video is going to be for the CinemaSins episode on everything wrong with First Blood. Now, as you can clearly tell, this is not a horror-themed reaction video, and the reason for that is, as of today, is when I'm posting this reaction video, First Blood has officially turned 40 fucking years old, and it's one of those movies that I just love so much and have so much respect for that I just gotta post some kind of video to celebrate. And before I jump into the video, give my quick thoughts on First Blood with Sylvester Stallone. I think it's one of the best, possibly greatest films of his filmography. Showed that he could truly be more than just Rocky Balboa, and well, the sequels definitely got way more retarded and over the top in their action. The first one was both an action movie, but also a very disturbing and sad look at a PTSD-stricken war veteran who has been fucked over ever since he came home, and Stallone just played the hell out of this part. Richard Crenna, Brian Dennehy, they were all magnificent. Crenna playing the stern but sympathetic old friend, and Dennehy just playing a, as the Brits would say, right cunt. As for CinemaSins, I've done a few reactions to them so far, and while they can be a little cringy at times, particularly when they go into this thing from 30-40 years ago is politically incorrect, so we must make a big deal out of it. They are fun most of the time, and I've enjoyed quite a ton of their videos, and I'm real curious to see what they do with First Blood, because, as many have said, they nitpick on purpose. It's kind of their shtick, and while it can be a little, as I said, a little cringy, a little grating at times, once you know that, it's pretty easy to get into them, and it's clear these are meant to be comedic, they're meant to make you laugh, they're not meant to be serious reviews, although they occasionally drop a bit of wisdom here and there, so let's watch and see if it's funny or if they do John Rambo dirty. "13 minutes. See what happens."
Wait, no logos? Nothing to sit in the first few seconds? Does not compute hit getting tight. Whenever Andrew Varno's name pops up on the screen, I can't be the only one who sees vagina, can I? Just me? Okay, that's sin on me, I guess. Rambo movie title refuses to properly rank.
All got the middle school mindset.
Look, I knew it was a different time, but seriously, not one of these kids is slightly suspicious of the Rambo hobo that's just wandering into their yard?
And there's Delmar, right in the back.
Delmar's gone.
What time will he be back?
He died.
Damn woman, talk about burying the lead. You let John go through all this backstory before you drop this bomb on him? This entrance to the town is way more confusing than it needs to be. What do the two different years signify? One side was built in 1858 and the other in 1958? And the town is called Holidayland or Hope? One started about Schmidt and the other's an amusement park, for crying out loud.
Hicktown.
That flag on that jacket, looking the way you do. You're asking for trouble around here, friend.
I can't tell if Teasel's warning this poor bastard or propositioning him.
Against me getting something here?
Yeah, me.
I know Teasel being a dick to Rambo is the basis for this story, but I've never understood why he was such a f***ing dick to Rambo. Sure, he looks a little ratty, but he's literally passing through. If FX here didn't f*** with him, the town would be just as safe as it was this morning. Also, he doesn't even look that bad. Sure, I guess he could use a shave and a haircut, but it's not like he's visibly dirty. And his clothes look a little
Old-fashioned guy, doesn't like the long hair.
We're gonna set Rambo up to be a bum that upright. This movie has nothing to do with Christmas, except the setting. So please give me an argument that First Blood is a Christmas movie, and shut the f*** up about that.
Technically.
Come on, Leroy, sling that paint, boy.
I'm not saying this is terrible ADR, but I am saying it sounds like they recorded it using audience members at a test screening who were asked to shout out what the characters were saying.
Fair.
Oh, wait a second.
Discount David Caruso. Holy that is actual David Caruso.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Back in the day.
Break your face in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm being overly literal here, but that was uncomfortably much longer than this butthole would have given Rambo.
Starting to dislike you.
And I'm starting to notice
You just
everyone
hate
this
this
goddamn
fucking
is a
guy.
dick. Isn't there one person in this office that doesn't have a raging torture boner right now?
As things stand right now, you're facing the ass end of an
Cops are evil, don't you know?
The ass end of a 90-day incarceration. The f does that even mean? God damn, this is a waste of water. That's a fire hose. This is why you eventually had drought in California. Also, what kind of regular-ass police station has a fire hose hooked up on the inside? The f could they ever use that for, other than humiliating runway models for derelict? Also, what's this scene here for anyway? Why are they so obsessed with cleaning him off at all? It's not like he needs to be clean for the rest of the story to happen. Basically, what I'm saying is Sly wanted an excuse to show off his ass, and this was the only chance. Honestly, I can't blame him. That's a good ass.
Can't you see this?
Gotta appreciate a good ass.
I don't give a...
Clearly, this was the only character description given in the script for Gall.
I'm just gonna shave you, partner. Take it easy.
But they f***ing straight razor. Look, I know regular-ass Bics were in heavy rotation in the early 80s, so this is some plot-convenient grooming.
Again, they want to be horrible to him.
What was this guy waiting for? I see that my colleague is getting beat up pretty bad, but I'm pretty sure he'll turn the tables before he gets punched out of that window. Huh, guess not. Okay, better get up and mildly protest now. The shortest path between 2 points apparently involves climbing onto, then off of the corner of this patrol car's hood. How long has weed been legal in Washington? Because considering this asshole in the car barely notices the dude in the tank top running right in front of him onto the street and tackling a motorcyclist, he's gotta be high as But why? There's no traffic on the actual road. Damn, how has this restaurant not been sued to hell for appropriating the name and exact design of The Godfather?
Huh.
You popped a f***ing weed.
Never noticed that.
High-speed pursuit. What is this? A f***ing Fast and Furious prequel? Okay, I'm officially past the idea that Teasel's pissed about Rambo kicking his team's ass, and now convinced he always wanted to play the most dangerous game, and finally got the chance. Where's Rambo even going right now? He's pretty well hidden in the woods, so really this is the time to chill with the loud bike motor. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if Teasel just let him go now? Then Rambo would eventually wander onto a ranch where Rosanna Arquette lives, would help her stop Ted Levine and Joss Ackland from taking her property from her for their own nefarious developing plans. We call it Nowhere to Rambo. God damn it, this is supposed to be the smartest, most resourceful soldier of all time. So what the is this?
Tell them to bring the Dobermans. It's gonna rain. They'll need dogs that can hunt on sight.
For a small, boring town, they sure do have a large police force and various breeds of dogs, depending on the terrain and weather conditions when they need to track a fugitive.
If they give them any, tell them to cite them for obstruction right on the spot.
Sheriff Dickface isn't happy enough just to be a dickety dick to Rambo, so anyone within his dickful radius is gonna get dicked. Dick.
Dick.
The good, the bad, and the frumpy. How long has Rambo been out here? It must have been a while for Orville and his dogs to get ready and go on the hunt, and the whole unit has remobilized. Shouldn't Rambo have had enough time to really settle in, or at least look at his options for escape? They're acting like they're immediately hot on his trail. Cliffhanger 1982.
Yeah.
This pilot is way too casual.
He should have had a much more grisly death.
Just trying to full-on murder someone. Normal Tuesday. Looks like someone brought a rock.
Nobody would complain about this portrayal of cops today.
Wait, that fucking worked? Man, I know that old dude couldn't do his own stunts, but the level of effort put into the stand-in looking like the real actor is laughable in this fucking thing. Stitcher.
I never felt like he looked like someone else.
All of this.
I knew there was something about that guy.
Unfortunately, this is what Ronnie Eskel said about David Caruso's performance in this movie when he was casting Jade.
Jade's actually not that bad. The director's cut at least.
Getting an epic swirly.
But I'm gonna get that son of a bitch, and I'm gonna pin that Congressional Medal of Honor to his liver.
What a hilariously specific threat.
Don't fire this guy, for Christ's sake. Get your eyes open.
And keep your voice loud. If anything's gonna flush this motherfucker out, it's definitely our constant shouting at each other. Man, this small-ass town has so many automatic weapons, they ought to be in a Rambo movie or something.
We ain't hunting him. He's hunting us.
Mitch is right, but how does he know this? The thing in the ravine was clearly an accident, and who knows what the that was back at the Scarecrow. Walking,
Green Beret.
walking, excited.
It's fair to assume he's a good hunter.
I can tell by the high-pitched, almost feminine screaming. He is the one. How could he think for 1 second he shot Rambo? He could clearly see Rambo, so he can also clearly see his own man that he shot behind him. Cool. Looks like Rambo also used to work at a pastry shop before joining the Hunger Games.
Don't push it. I'll give you a word you won't believe.
Like the one with the roses that ended with Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas hanging from a chandelier. Weird like that. Got it?
Let it go. Let it.
Amazing
Do
scene.
you want to build a snowman?
And there it is. Everyone has to reference Frozen now.
Units of the state police,
That
along
fucking
with local
movie.
members of the National Guard, are now being mobilized.
This news position is so forced and obvious that it might as well be shown broadcasting in a crowded bar at an inappropriately high volume.
I don't possess God in heaven to make a man like Rambo.
God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
There's convenient timing, there's dramatic timing, and there's this ridiculous miraculous convergence of the two. Has Troutman been waiting around the tent until the perfect time to reveal himself?
We're a little busy this morning, Colonel. What can I do for you?
Troutman literally just said he knew John Rambo personally. Teasel really wants to just shoo him off with a "we're busy" speech?
Okay, Colonel. Now you got us all scared to death.
Did Teasel seriously pause to put on this ridiculous coat in mid-conversation with Troutman? The last time he was talking,
Because he's going for the
this has to
sexy
be the
dad look.
continuation of that discussion.
Are you telling me that 200 men against your boy is a no-win situation for us?
200? 200? I know they got support from the Stadies and the Guard, but 200? That is a ton of trained people to respond to this one incident in a tiny, unpopulated area. And it's even still the same f***ing day.
Well,
Just
that
ridiculously
cops
fast mobilization.
do take that
Meanwhile,
seriously.
outside the cave bear.
Where'd you come from, sir? I tried to get in touch with you, but the guys at Bragg never knew where to find you.
Yeah, well, I haven't been spending much time there lately. They've got me down in D.C.
If either one of these locations are true, then how the did Troutman get out here so goddamn fast? The escape happened in the middle of the day, and the attack on the deputies was close to nightfall. But Troutman was able to get all the way out from the East Coast to the Pacific Northwest, then out this far into the countryside before dark.
They drew first blood, not me.
Roll Rambos. I get that Rambo is really f***ing good at what he does, but what are the chances he's right by the exact path they chose to cross? And why is he even still around here? He could be miles away at this point.
I'll get him! I'll get him! Don't shoot! Cool down! This way! Let's go!
Jesus Christ. It's like Richard Donner took over directing this part of the movie and ordered everyone to shout every line.
Raymond? What? I want you to go into that mine. Oh, not me.
Rambo softened their murder boners that fast? All he did was shoot at the bunker a couple times. These guys may not have seen combat before, but they were all
Tough until they're faced with actual danger.
What's wrong with you, Clinton?
A conversation from the 1992 campaign trail somehow appears in this movie, or 1996, or 2008, or 2016.
That's a cheap joke.
That could have happened.
Buried in a hole with a bunch of goddamn weekend warriors. I thought you said he was the best you ever trained.
Yeah, but it is a f***ing hole. God damn, the fact that Teasel doesn't even consider the possibility that Rambo escaped into another part of the mine is the silliest part of this f***ing movie.
Killed for vagrancy in Jerkwater, USA.
Oh man, I hear the stores here in Jerkwater are fantastic. Wait, what? This place is a goddamn tinderbox, but you can safely park a flaming torch on the wooden wall for several minutes? Look, I love this movie, but this is entirely too many minutes of Stallone.
What would you have done with him if he came in? Would you wrap your arms around him, give him a big sloppy kiss? Or would you have blown his brains out?
Unfortunately, these were the only two options allowed by criminal law in the 1980s. It was a dark time.
Yeah,
Those
pretty
were a
much.
lost art. Also, I don't care how noisy these military trucks are on the inside. You would definitely hear the sound of a grown-ass man jumping on top of it.
What do you got in the back, Robert A?
N60.
Why? This is a reserves truck on a f***ing recovery mission. What's the need for an enormous machine gun except for actioning up the end of this otherwise awesome action movie? Once again, this cop car shows up immediately after they get the report that Rambo's on the loose. But in the meantime, the dude has had to trek up the trail a ways. The cop picked him up. The call casually came into dispatch while Deputy Dewey was smoking some coffee, and only then was Teasel alerted. Then they found out exactly where the truck was. The cops in this town are f***ing magic. Oh man, Rambo has no regard for safety here. The sign clearly says that it can be slippery when frosty. Also, cops set up a roadblock and fugitive barrels right through
I think that I would take a sin off for that stunt. That's amazing.
All of them, right? Well, Seneca's used cars and trucks is going to take a bath on the merchandise, but I bet they will get a nice insurance settlement. I don't know specifically how big a town Hope is, but I guarantee you it's not big enough to justify having 4 gas stations on a tiny city block.
You're gonna die, Teasel.
Everybody dies.
Fun fact.
About that many Dunkin' Donuts in my town.
Output in the 90s.
There's only one man in this room who's got half a chance.
God damn, this will they or won't they bull with Teasel and Troutman goes on for longer than Ross and Rachel. Well, someone's getting a lump of coal in their stocking this year. Seriously, man, Rambo's such a dick to Hope that Shepard Fairey has been personally offended by this movie for the last 37 years. The last 4 minutes of this movie have solely consisted of Rambo running somewhere and shooting stuff. The one thing Troutman clearly didn't teach him was conserving ammunition. There's so much automatic gunplay in the last few minutes of this movie, it makes the Rambo parody in UHF look borderline legit. Sure, some of the department is busy at the gas station Rambo blew up, but they also have to have heard all the f***ing commotion going on around the rest of the town. And no one checks in on the station. Ryan should be dead of heat.
Rambo! Rambo, don't do it.
Where the f*** did Troutman come from?
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off! It wasn't my war!
Holy this movie rules on so many levels. Great action, great setting, excellent villain, and some of Sly's best actor. That's right. In a
Totally.
Rambo movie, motherfuckers. Take a sin off.
Yes!
Hey man, you know how Rambo won his big little puppy and Rambo shredded up?
Are you a person
Tropic
who loves the
Thunder.
show but doesn't own any clothes? Are you sitting there completely nude, wondering if there's any way you can display your love for CinemaSins properties while also presenting yourself in an acceptable way in a public place? Good news, everyone! We here at the Sins team have launched a new merch store with the help of
I'll look through this to see what the post-credit clips are.
Want something a bit more modest? This pullover hoodie has got you covered. We've even got a few badass posters and one killer mug.
Looks too simple for my taste. Oh, that would come in handy. I think I'll stick with the Channel Awesome store.
No, not f***ing brain dead. Get the f*** out of here.
Get up there, beyond the draw. What I want out of each and every one of you is a hard target search.
Gotta play the
Gas
fugitive.
station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, and doghouse. So what do I do?
Want to press your feet up against the rock and, like, shoot yourself off.
Well, like a frog.
I don't know, dude. Get off the fucking rock.
I'm warning you, boy. Don't make a move. I'll blow your head off. Well, I didn't do it. Help me, Jewish guy! Help me, Allah! Help me, Tom Cruise!
Hot shots.
Back to Bragg.
Get to the chopper!
Hard to say which of those clips my favorite. Blues Brothers, definitely up there. The Fugitive, I love that. I love The Fugitive. It's one of my favorite action movies, and it's cool. They did their usual stick with the jokes, but they acknowledge it's a great film, and it's so good they didn't even crack the 100 sin number, and I'm glad they took a sin off for the ending, because it really is some of Stallone's best work, and watching that movie is always a adrenaline / emotional ride, and hard to believe First Blood is 40 years old. I know they had I haven't seen the latest Rambo, I think it was called Last Blood, and I heard it wasn't that great, but Brad Jones recommended kind of in a turn your brain off and just enjoy kind of way, kind of like Cobra. Probably get to that eventually, and yeah, David Caruso. I'm kind of shocked they didn't do a CSI style clip here, considering he's in the fucking movie. Real thirsty. And the part with the truck, I still think that should have, like, just seeing it go over the police cars, I still think that should have merited some kind of take a sin off moment. And the part where the police car is chasing him, surprised they didn't acknowledge him crashing it and then be like, so they live or die, because I know that's been an often debated thing with First Blood. And yeah, the cops can be a little unnecessarily cruel from a certain point of view, but small town cops, dirty looking guy comes in, don't take kindly to strangers. There are places like that, and I already saw this when I did the reaction a few years ago to the Dom's Lost in Adaptation episode on First Blood. It would have had a bit more depth if they had included the original backstory for Teasel, that he was a Korean War veteran, which contributed to his resentment of Rambo, because it's been known that a lot of Korean veterans hold resentment for Vietnam veterans because they feel like the Vietnam War made people forget about the Korean War and made their service seem minuscule in comparison. Anyway, that's the original backstory, and I don't have a ton else to say. It's kind of a weird time I'm filming. Just I like this, and I love seeing them celebrate First Blood, and if you haven't seen First Blood in its entirety all the way through, even if a video like this or mine kind of spoiled it, it's still an incredible watch, and I fully recommend it. And if you've seen it, see it again. And I think I've rambled on enough. I have not been getting a lot of sleep lately, and it's kind of getting hot in here, so I'm going to sign off before I go on too much fucking longer, and I will see you again soon, this time with a much more horror-themed video, and hope you're having a nice October.